Hi, what you'll see shortly is some student examples of my final project, which as a study skills teacher is based around organization. Some of the net standards that I believe this project has met are creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration, research and information fluency, critical thinking, problem solving and decision making, digital citizenship, and technology operations and concepts. Some of the, obviously my main goal was to improve my students' organizational skills. The tools that I used were basically Google Calendar, Google Drive, email, messaging, and the attitudes that my students needed to develop in using these tools, I would say they just needed to be open to using them for educational purposes. I think they had some groundwork in the middle school, but I think they learned here in their first year of high school of how valuable these tools can be for improving their grades and succeeding in school. And that's how I introduced it, that this is something that you'll need for the rest of your lives, and it's something that can help you succeed not only in your first year of school, but throughout your school years, university, and life in general. And they reacted well to this. I think, in all honesty, that they wanted to improve, and I think you'll see that they have. I feel that I met my goals. There's still room for improvement, but as you will hear from the 3 students that I interviewed, that they believe that their organization skills have increased. What I would do differently next time is that I think I would put more responsibility on my students from the beginning. This year I took it upon myself to maintain the group assignment calendar, updating it regularly. And I think next year what I'll do is assign different students different classes, and they will have to enter the assignments for everybody else. So that is one thing that I learned, that students can do more and probably should do more. One saying that I learned years ago, and it was confirmed with this unit, is when you're working harder than your students, something's wrong. That, your students should be working harder than you, and I'm going to correct that next time around. My greatest learning in COETAIL, I think, was to be open to trying new things, not to be afraid, and not that I really was ever afraid, but to just accept opportunities of new ways of doing things more readily. Just try it. Very little can go wrong. I do believe that this organization reached the level of redefinition. I think you'll see that my students now are doing things that they couldn't have done before. And again, I think one of the biggest outcomes is that saying I didn't know or I didn't have what I needed, it's no longer an option. That is eliminated as an excuse. I personally don't accept it as an excuse. And I think my students have accepted that as well. I've stopped hearing that this year. As far as my PLN goes, I feel it's been very successful. I contribute to it regularly. I learn from it and share what I learned regularly. I see it only getting bigger and better, and I'm 100% positive that I will continue to use it, and it will continue to grow. Thank you. Hi, so I'm here with a couple of my favorite students, and I'm going to ask them to demonstrate their organization systems, mostly based on Google products, which is what our school has basically decided to go with. So this is Vera. Why don't you just talk about your experiences in middle school? How did you stay organized? How did you keep track of your assignments? And just things that were happening in school?
Well, in middle school, we were using Edmodo, which still helps us to keep track of our work every day. But then now that in high school that we're using Google Drive, it just helps me to be more organized.
Good. Well, we'll show that in a minute. But how about a planner? Did you use a planner back then?
Well, I used to use a planner in middle school, but ever since now that I'm in high school, I would either go to the Study Skills website just to check for my daily plan. So for, let's
take a look at that.
So let's say I go to April 29th here. So back then, I would go to the list of my plans or other people's plans, and I would see what work we have today. Like I made my own right here. So each case, every time I come in Study Skills or I'm back home, I would always look up at what I'm supposed to do, and I would just start right away when I get back home.
Okay, so that's what you're doing now in high school. That's one thing that changed, right?
Yeah.
You didn't do that in middle school?
We didn't do that.
And do you find this to be helpful?
Well, I find this to be very helpful is because it helps me to show how I'm organized or how I even manage my time when doing homework.
Okay. And let's take a look at the calendar. And here, okay, why don't you tell what just happened there?
Well, in here, as you can see, I linked the Gmail account into the calendar, so every time when there's an event that anyone puts up or that I put up, I would get an alert right here. Like right now, like as I'm recording the video, it says Teams meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it the setting into 15 minutes before it happens, so I'm alerted.
Right. So do you have any excuse, would you say, now in 9th grade for missing an assignment or not knowing how to do an assignment?
Well, I will not have any excuses because everything that I need is right here.
Yeah. Well, where else? There's something else that all teachers use, Google Drive.
Google Drive.
Can you show us that?
So like for Miss Sabrina's, as you can see, she made a website like in this website right here. And every time we go to her daily agenda, for every day we come to her class, she'll be putting dates and she'll be putting agendas on what we're supposed to do in class. And over here is where all the homework is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Miss Sabrina, her system works well with ours because what you've done, and we've all done, is to subscribe to her calendar. So that goes into our 9th grade assignment calendar, right? Can you show that?
9th grade assignment calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So like here.
Yep.
So instead of just going to the Google Calendar, I can just come up to my own calendar and I can just see all the events.
All of your due dates. I see you have some test quizzes and assignments due.
Yes, so I have no excuse.
That's the way we like it. Okay, is there anything else you wanted to say?
Oh, that's all I have to say for now. So.
Okay. Let's take a look at Por.
Hi.
How would you say? How were you in middle school?
If you ask me that how am I in middle school, I can tell that my organization is very poor.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
The first thing that I use at that time is my email, as I used to use it today, and I use that model, but because of that model, it's not really good for me to look and manage things, and it just mess all of my stuff.
Okay.
And I just use my computer to keep works, and sometimes it is lost because I replace files, something like that.
Were you using a planner back then?
I never use my planner at all.
Well, that's a problem.
Since grade 3, yeah.
Okay. So, but now, and I know from experience that you love this thing. What is this again?
It's a Acer.
Okay.
But it is a touchscreen.
Right. It's a touchscreen tablet.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. I know you're very proud of this. And how about, why don't you show the checklist that you have to complete? So here we have, if they're on time, they can give themselves a 3. If their calendar or planner is up to date, they can get a 3. They're supposed to check Power School for missing assignments and grades, and they would get a 3. And then they have to write a plan, which Vera and Por showed, and also they have to check their drive. That is a complaint I hear sometimes from teachers, that kids, their folders aren't organized well. So that's something that I make sure they do each class. Another pet peeve of mine is the desktop. Let's take a look at your desktop.
So this is my. Oops, sorry. And this is my desktop.
Okay, good. I like a nice clean desktop, so that's something else that they need to make sure that they have organized. So between these various items, how do you, what would you say? Do you feel like you're more organized than you've been in the past?
I would certainly say so because like long time ago I would have more newspapers.
Yeah, you were big on loose papers. One thing about Mew that I really like, let's show them your planner because I think it's a work of art. Now here's a student, go ahead, can you get it out? Who is very good about writing down his assignments. But, so I want to ask you, have you benefited from the calendar as well?
Yes.
Or would you still have? Take a look at this. I mean, it's, I think it's really a work of art. He's very detailed, and I think you're still using the planner, right?
Well, I didn't update it for weeks now.
Oh, okay, so maybe you've stopped, which...
I find it more efficient now to use the Google Calendar.
Okay.
And I have like a better memorization skill than I used to have a long time ago.
Yeah, good.
Well, a long time ago, I never knew how to use the Google things like the community or folders or anything, or how to even create a document. But since I came in grade 8, like since like I moved to grade 8, I started like learning how to use the Google system.
Yeah, and now that's all we do here in 9th grade. Pretty much we still got a couple of teachers using Edmodo, but we think they'll smarten up. Don't we, Mew?
Yep.
All right. All right, well, thank you.